Hey there, it's CJ Willie and I'm cracking a pack. Today is pack number 11 in my science project of cracking a 1990 top cello box. Check out my preview video for the explanation on how this science project will test the theory to see if I can build a complete set from a cello box. I've added the link to my 1990 top cello box preview video in the description below. So just as a reminder, with all the packs that I crack, I will share my thoughts and memories about some of the players' cards. After I've cracked the pack, I'm going to choose the best card out of the pack. That doesn't mean it has to be a rookie, superstar, or Hall of Famer. It can literally be a goofy photo, something interesting about the player, or maybe some memory I had of the player from back in the day. Okay, let's get to cracking the pack. We're at number 11. So far, still looking for a couple of the chase rookies, if you will. Larry Walker and Sammy Sosa. Check out my other videos to see the other cool cards that I've pulled from this cello box. Okay, here we go. Pat Perry. So Pat Perry originally was a minor league reliever for a number of years with the Reds. Came over to the Cardinals and then to the Cubs. Pretty much just a lefty relief specialist. Rex Hudler, Wonder Dog. Rex Hudler spent some time as a backup infielder, pinch runner, pinch hitter, Expos, Cardinals. He played with a number of different teams. I believe he spent some time as a TV analyst. Jesse Orosco. So it looks like we're getting a few repeats in our cello box, which is going to make completing that set really tough. Jesse Orosco, an ageless wonder, spent a number of years as a left-handed reliever with a bunch of different teams. Originally was a pretty good closer with the Mets, but then wasn't a closer after Randy Myers made it to the team. Ed Whited, I don't remember much about Ed Whited. Jerome Walton, he was part of the rookie class that did a lot with the Cubs. Here's another card that is Joe McGrane of the Cardinals. So if you look at his back, shows the All-Star back for the 1990 Topps set. Also, if some of the border right here was missing or grayed, that would be another indicator of having a no number on front Frank Thomas card. Lance Blankenship, backup utility infielder, outfielder. John Dobson came up as a starter with the Red Sox, spent some years as a middle reliever. Actually, I think, did he come up with Expos first? Yeah, came with Expos and then moved on to the Red Sox. Todd Froworth. Phil Stevenson. Phil Stevenson was kind of a minor league prospect with the Cubs. Spent a number of years in their organization. Couldn't really crack the majors until he spent a little bit of time with the Padres. Marvin Freeman was supposed to be a hot prospect with the Phillies, but never really panned out. Sammy Sosa, there we go. So, Sammy Sosa rookie card. Sosa began the 1989 year as a rookie with the Rangers and then was part of the Harold Baines trade. So Harold Baines went from the White Sox, where he had spent a number of years early on in his career, to the Rangers, and Sosa made his way to the Cubs. If you look at his back there, you'll see that he had spent the first part of '89 with the Rangers and then went to the White Sox. So that's cool. Got a Sammy Sosa rookie card. Bo Allred. I don't remember much about Bo Allred. John Cangelosi, he was a speedy outfielder, pinch hitter, pinch runner, backup outfielder. Came up early on with the White Sox, stole a lot of bases. He just never could produce a batting average or an on-pace percentage to be a consistent regular in the major leagues. Marvell Wynn came up with the Pirates. I think he led the National League in triples for a couple of years. He was a pretty good contact hitter, leadoff hitter. After the Pirates and the Cubs, his career somewhat fizzled. There's our Topps Company store binder. Oh, flipping around. Dan Plesac. Dan Plesac, is more famous nowadays as a analyst with MLB Network. Early on, he came up as a rookie, spent a little bit of time as a closer. Majority of his career was as a left-handed relief specialist. Kirby Puckett, Hall of Famer. Kirby Puckett, I really like Kirby Puckett. Aside from 1987 when his Twins beat my Cardinals in the World Series, one of my favorite memories is 1991 in the World Series against the Braves. Kirby Puckett was on fire, both defensively and offensively. I think he single-handedly carried the team to the World Series championship. Stan Javier spent a number of years with the Yankees and the A's as a fourth outfielder. Von Hayes, he was a mainstay, kind of a batting order cog for the Phillies, both as a first baseman and outfielder. Had a couple of all-star appearances. Robin Yount, Hall of Famer. Well, we're getting a number of Hall of Famers in this pack. Robin Yount, many years as the starting shortstop with the Brewers, eventually went out center field. Spent his entire career with the Brewers. That's not something you see nowadays. He surpassed the 3,000 hit mark, I want to say 93, I think 1993. Junior Felix, he came up with a lot of promise with the Blue Jays. Looked like he was going to be an all-star for, a number of years. Didn't really happen. Ramon Martinez, known as the older brother of Pedro Martinez, he had a pretty good career. When he first came up, he was really good. I think what happened with him, as we look at the back of this card, this is early on in his career, he eventually developed shoulder problems, and I think by age 31 or 32 was out of the league. If he hadn't developed those shoulder troubles, I don't think he would have been as good as his brother Pedro, but he was a pretty good pitcher. Ernie Riles, pretty much a backup infielder, Brewers, Giants, a couple other clubs. Tony Fossas, he, I think, became the definition of a loogie, L-O-O-G-Y, left-handed relief specialist. Would come in, face a left-handed batter, hit the showers. Dave Schmidt, pitcher, spent a number of years with the Rangers and the Orioles. Tracy Jones, backup outfielder. I don't remember much about him other than kind of being an off-the-bench guy. Larry Sheets. Now, Larry Sheets had a first couple of years that were just fantastic. If you look at 85, 86, and 87, it looked like he was on his way to superstardom. The interesting thing is he didn't strike out a ton, and back then tops didn't include on-base percentage. I'm not quite sure what happened to Larry Sheets. Maybe injury, maybe something else. If you notice, after he hit 31 home runs and 94 ribbies, he dropped down to 10 and 47. And then in 1989, barely had 7 home runs. And I think this 89 was his final year in the majors. He may have spent another year. Ricky Jordan came up, once again, another great prospect with the Phillies. We saw one earlier with Marvin Freeman. Ricky Jordan was supposed to be their power-hitting first baseman, hit for a high average. He was going to be a mainstay. It just didn't happen. Didn't pan out. Okay, Chuck Finley. Chuck Finley is a pitcher I always liked. He spent his last season of his career with the Cardinals in 2002, 2003. He was a pretty good pitcher. He's more infamous for some of his run-ins with the law and his ex-wife. Bud Black, currently a manager. He spent a number of years, first as a starting pitcher and then later on as a reliever. It's interesting, not too many pitchers make the transition to a manager, but Bud Black has had a relatively successful career in managing in, I think, 2 or 3 different stops. And then the final card is Todd Worrell. Todd Worrell, one of my favorite Cardinals as well. He came up late in 1985 as a closer. He spent the majority of the year in the minor leagues. Then through the playoffs in the World Series, he was their stopper. And then through 86 onward, he was their main closer. I'll always remember him covering first base in the 1985 Game 6 World Series against the Kansas City Royals. Replay show, Jorge Orta was clearly out, but yet Don Denkinger called him safe. Next game, the Royals just bombed the Cardinals. I think the final score is 13-0, win the World Series. Todd Worrell would have been, I think, a pretty successful closer and may have even pushed for, you know, Bruce Suter's record with the Cardinals for the most saves. If it wasn't during, I think it was either during, yeah, it was during the 1989 season, he blew out his shoulder, had to have surgery. Took him a couple years to come back. Spent some time with the Dodgers. After that, he was pretty much a setup guy. Didn't get too many save opportunities. Okay, the best card, or my favorite card out of the pack. I think I'm going to go with, I mean, the easy choice would be Sammy Sosa. Being a Cardinals fan, you know, Sammy Sosa was not, you know, my favorite player. It's going to be Kirby Pucket. Kirby Pucket evokes a lot of memories of, you know, the mid-'80s through the '90s. He was a superstar player. Unfortunately, his career was cut short in 1995 with an eye injury, and then his life ended relatively early, I think around 2004, 2005. So Kirby Puckett was a fantastic Major League Baseball player. He had the defense. I can still remember the 1999 or 1991 World Series where he climbs the wall to rob a home run. Offensively, early on in his career, he didn't hit for a lot of power. He had a high average. Later on in his career, he had a really good mix of power and average. Just an all-around awesome player. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like it, subscribe, and share. Let me know down in the comment section what your favorite or best card out of the pack was. Until next time when I crack pack number 12 for my 1990 Top Cello box, remember, this is for science.